Hey guys, there will be no intro today. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into the ingredients for the peas. I'm going to use the Picsweet Field peas with snaps, and for the meat I'm going to season them with, I'm going to use the royal smoked pigtails for these. And for the pot roast ingredients, I'm going to use 3 russet potatoes, good sized potatoes, 1 medium to large size yellow onion, as well as some carrots. You do not have to use potatoes, onion, or carrots, just what I prefer to put in my roast. And of course, the star of the show is going to be a chuck pot roast or any chunk of meat that you prefer. This was about a 2.78 pound roast. Along with, I cooked mine with some rice on the side. So to start off cooking your peas, you're going to need a large pot. I'm going to fill it up with about 4 cups of water. And of course, I'm going to season my water. And you can use any seasonings that you prefer. I use seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder, garlic salt, black pepper. Just an abundance of seasonings that I prefer my food to taste like. And you can use whatever seasonings you prefer as well, but this is just what I like to season my food with. And I add about half a tablespoon of each seasoning, and into the water I added about 5 pieces of that pork tail, and I'm going to let that boil for about an hour. You want to always start your meat off boiling first because it is a thick skin, and so it needs a little extra time, more than the peas, to get tender. And if you cook them all at the same time, then by the time everything is done, then the peas are going to be overcooked and squished. Alright, while our pork tails are boiling, we're going to go ahead and prep our roast. You're going to take your freshly cleaned roast, and I sliced up my yellow onion. And I'm going to go ahead and with the same choice of seasonings that I stated earlier, and I'm going to heavily season my roast. You always want to season your meat just a little bit heavier because as it cooks, it does absorb a lot of that flavor. And you just want to make sure you're seasoning each side heavily because you eat both sides, so you're going to season both sides. So I also take my hand and rub it in. I do cook for myself and my family, so I am very sanitary. I wash my hands and etc. So I'm not going to put on gloves to cook in my own house. And if you guys have any kind of problem with that, then you can definitely just not watch the video. As well as, I'm just going to take those onions, I'm going to break them apart across the roast, and I'm also going to tuck a few of those onions underneath just to have the onion flavor everywhere, because you know, as onions cook, they become very sweet and flavorful. And this is how it should look after you do so. I'm going to add just a little bit, maybe about 2 tablespoons of water into this pan, and then I'm going to wrap it up with some foil. I'm going to cook it on 300 degrees in my oven for about an hour, just to give it a head start, maybe about an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah, I say about 90 minutes. Yeah. Alrighty, so now that our roast is in the oven, we're going to begin finishing off our peas. After those pork tails boil for about an hour, I'm going ahead and add in the whole bag of peas into my pot. I'm going to stir it around. I'm going to let them cook on about the eye number 3 for about 2 hours. I don't want to cook mine too long so they get too overdone, and this gives me the perfect consistency that I prefer my peas. Alrighty, since our roast is in the oven cooking, we're just going to go ahead and start prepping our vegetables to go ahead and put into that pan. So of course, you always want to clean your vegetables, as well as I'm going in and I'm peeling my carrots along with my potatoes. You do not have to do this if you don't want to. This is just my personal preference. So this is all I'm really doing right now, is just prepping my vegetables to get ready to cut them. So now I'm just going in and cutting my vegetables. You can cut your vegetables any way that you prefer to have your vegetables eaten. I cut my potatoes in about 1-inch pieces, 1-inch chunks, as well as I did the same for my carrots. I just wanted everything to be the same size so everything cooks at the same time and finishes at the same time. And I'm sorry, I look like an auntie in this video. I am, and yeah. Also, I know my voice is kind of raspy right now. I don't know what's going on, but y'all just go with the flow and just, y'all know what it is when you come to my channel. I ain't even gonna sit here and explain myself. Alright, so when you're cooking, you want to make sure you season every part. So I'm going to go ahead and add all of those vegetables into a bowl, along with about 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil or any oil you prefer. And I'm going to go ahead and season my potatoes with the same seasonings that I prefer, that I've stated multiple times throughout this video. You can season whatever you prefer, and I'm just going to go ahead and toss those together, and the oil will just help the seasoning stick as well as help them cook and get really nice and tender in the oven. Alright, so now I'm just taking the roast out of the oven. It's been cooking for about 90 minutes on 300 degrees, and it's smelling really good in here. I really wish you guys could smell it, and that's how it should look. It's just about halfway cooked, and you can see that it's already getting really tender. And now all I'm going to do is just add those vegetables all around it. And so the roast cooked for about 90 minutes, and so I want the vegetables to cook for about 90 minutes as well. So that would mean the roast cooked for about 180 minutes total, and the vegetables cooked for only 90 minutes. Y'all know I'm not good at math. It'll be in the description box. I ain't even supposed to sit here and go back and forth with y'all. Alright, so our peas are finally done after those 2 hours cooking on that level 3i, I believe. And this is how they look. You know, a lot of that liquid has boiled out, and so I'm just going to go in and break up some of the meat from the pork tail since it's very tender now, just so that you can have a little piece of meat in every bite while you're eating. And these are done. You can add in about 1 tablespoon of butter now that it's done. Also, my roast has come out of the oven, and you can see everything is nice and tender. Meat is nice and tender. Carrots are nice and tender. Who needs a fork? Who needs a knife? Spoon me, please, sweetie. And it don't get no better. It don't get no simpler than this, guys. You know I do the bare minimum when I'm sorry and lazy. Look at that. Look at that. Good and juicy. Good roast. Good roast. Now we're just going to go ahead and start plating it. So I'm going to put me down some peas. Good peas. Look how creamy my peas are, y'all. Come on. Put down some rice and go ahead and drop them vegetables down on the plate, along with a big chunk of that good old long cooked roast, that Kiki roast. And this is how it looks, y'all. It looks so good. It was so good. If you guys would like more cooking videos from me to see what Kiki be eating, then let me know, and I'd be more than happy to drop that for you guys. And I hope you guys have a blessed day and stay healthy, and peace out.